Okay, so a very brief update, and I'm sorry if you can hear my dishwasher going in the background, but needs must. And I also wanted to give some of the people on my channel something to appease them. You know, those people who only ever seem to comment when Honey Badger Radio is doing a fundraiser for an event or a trip or something like that. And we always get these sort of comments about stop asking for money, don't expect people to bankroll your vacations, and all kinds of stuff like that. And so I wanted to essentially give those people, you know, those who don't want to donate to us, you know, some groups and people who are actually doing something. And these individuals and groups absolutely are. So I've got two projects that any of you can throw your money at. They're not HBR, they're not officially affiliated with us, but I do support their efforts. And the first is the Young Voices Project, and I highlighted this in an interview a while back. I will link that interview in the low bar and all of the relevant information as well. It's a youth project. It's spearheaded by two young men in the U.S. in their late teens, early 20s, and they are backed by the Coalition to Create a White House Council on Boys and Men. And they are still short, despite our best efforts. They are still short of their initial goal of $3,000 to produce 3 pilot episodes of the show. And they could really use a little love. And this would be a public access show that goes on TV and then would also be uploaded to YouTube and be available to everybody. So definitely something that would be worth donating to. Now the second project is Cafe's proposed Ottawa Centre for Men and Families. They succeeded in setting up such a centre in Toronto, and they're currently raising funds to open a similar one in Canada's national capital. Now, so far, they've raised about $63,000 of their $75,000 goal, and they could absolutely use a little of your love as well. Cafe has been at the forefront of mainstreaming the issues of men and boys in Canada. They get invited onto TV shows that people like me absolutely don't, and there are even some respectable people who are willing to publicly associate with them, despite the fact that they give deplorables like me a platform. So I would suggest that if you're looking for a place to put your money that isn't HBR, isn't me in particular, isn't any of the other things that we've fundraised for in the past, go throw some shekels in that hat. Do it because, do it soon, because their fundraiser ends on the 31st of May, which is just a couple of days away. So get it in while you can. And finally, I'm just going to give you guys all a bit of a rundown of my Australia trip, which has turned into something of a beast. I had initially thought I would only be gone for about a week, and I would just be doing the one thing, the ICMI, but Bettina Arndt, the inimitable Bettina Arndt, has set up some other things for me to do while I'm there. So I will be gone for a full 2 weeks, which kind of sucks, but what are you going to do? I will be leaving the 1st of June. I arrive the morning of the 3rd, and then on the morning of the 4th, I will be appearing on Sky News' The Outsiders for an hour, which is pretty cool. They're giving me an entire hour. And then later that same evening, I will be doing an appearance on Mark Latham's Outsiders, which is a different show. I think he was part of Sky News' The Outsiders, and then he got booted off for some reason for saying something even too politically incorrect for them. And so he started his own thing. And I will be on his show for, I believe, an hour or so, answering audience questions that have been submitted beforehand and talking with him. On the evening of the 5th, I will be doing a group meetup with the other honey badgers in Sydney with anybody who wants to attend that. And again, relevant links will be in the low bar. And then on the 7th, when I'm hopefully recovered from all the drinks people will be buying me, on the 5th, I will be giving a speech at the Sydney Institute on how marriage has become dangerous and toxic for men. That will be a speech and then a question and answer period, typical events like that. So that's pretty cool. On the 8th, I'm going to be driving up to the Gold Coast in a rented vehicle with Jasmine Newman, and I'll leave her link in the low bar and some others. And then on the 10th, I believe it's the 10th, I will be giving my own presentation at ICMI, which will be on the evolutionary, biological, and psychological barriers to men's rights advocacy. And it will be an expansion of, loosely based on the speech that I gave in Ottawa, but it will have some extra info in there. And all of these things will be available to the public, which is really cool. It's looking like I won't be able to make a Melbourne meetup and still be able to make my flight home on the 14th, and that really sucks. But, you know, after thinking about it long and hard, 2 weeks away is long enough. I have a 7-month-old puppy. She's just going into heat. She will be in the danger zone the entire time I'm away, and I'm just dreading coming home to a pregnant 7-month-old dog. And I have an old dog who isn't pregnant, but might as well be, because she's experiencing a false pregnancy that's been brought on by the puppy, and she's lactating and she's behaving all weird, and it's just like a nightmare. Yes, my kids will be here. 2 of them are adults, and the responsible one, the 14-year-old, is very responsible. But, you know, it's a lot to ask them, given their schedules, to be able to cover all the bases with these dogs and with themselves and all of that for longer than the 2 weeks. And that really sucks, because Bettina was asking me if I would stay until after the 20th, which would have been just like, no. Because she had secured a spot for me on a show called Hack Live. That's an Aussie show that reaches about 1 million young people. And I just said, no way can I stay in order to be in studio with them. So I will actually be doing that show via Skype from home after I get back on the 20th. And the topic of that show is whether male privilege is bullshit. So should be interesting. And then on the 23rd, I will be on Danielle Smith's morning radio show in Calgary to discuss the She for He panel discussion that I will be participating in Calgary the next day on the 24th. And I will leave the link to that event in the low bar as well. So just to let everybody know, June's going to be busy. It's going to be crazy busy. And I'm just hoping that the rest of the summer remains relatively event-free, so that I can get my 2 trees chopped down and my yard graded and my front yard resodded and fenced in, and I won't have to worry about my puppy escaping like she did this morning off of the chain. And I'll be able to get the yard to be something that the dogs can just run around in and just relax and have fun. And yeah, and maybe not look like a gypsy camp after a 2-week bender, which is what it looks like now. So anyhow, I'm hoping that the rest of the summer is relatively free. I can get all of that stuff done before the snow flies at the end of August. And okay, yeah, sure, it usually doesn't snow before October, but this is Edmonton, so you never know. And one last thing for all of you who are wanting it. Here's some puppy therapy. Not that she's much of a puppy anymore. Get it. Are you done? Apparently not. You done? Okay, I think she's done.